Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, in collaboration with Commonwealth of Learning, convened a day-long validation workshop at its new office in Kanifing to review the ministry's first-ever national gender inclusion policy. The landmark policy is aimed at boosting enrollment and active participation of women and girls in the country's tertiary and higher education sector. The workshop brought together key stakeholders from academia, government agencies, civil society, and development partners to assess and provide critical feedback on the draft policy.
With the advent of this new policy, the tertiary and higher education sector can now boast of institutions and the workforce that are gender sensitive and ready to champion equitable societal transformation through higher learning opportunities for both genders. Ladies and gentlemen, it might interest you to know that this gender inclusion policy aligns with relevant national and international policy frameworks, chief amongst which are the SDGs 4 and 5, the Constitution of the Gambia, the National Gender Policy, the Recovery-Focused National Development Plan, YIRIWA, as well as key policies of the ministry. This policy thus signals a collective response to social justice and a drive towards educating and empowering female.
Jennifer Jan, the Permanent Secretary at MoHERST, says this is the first time the ministry is introducing a comprehensive policy framework specifically aimed at advancing gender inclusion in higher education.
Education is one of the most powerful tools for attaining transformative development and empowerment. But it can only truly empower when it is equitable, inclusive, and discrimination-free. Therefore, women and girls and persons with disabilities cannot be left out of the development agendas due to their gender or their abilities.
Jan also emphasized the ministry's commitment to the empowerment of women and girls and persons with disabilities in the education sector. The policy framework is built around 10 strategic objectives, which include equitable access to tertiary and higher education, the creation of inclusion and supportive learning environment, gender mainstream in administration, among other key policy frameworks. The Minister of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Professor Per Gomez, described the policy as a beacon of hope designed to dismantle long-standing barriers and address the underrepresentation of women and persons with disabilities in both teaching and students' population. Therefore, Professor Gomez called on active engagement with each other to ensure the development of comprehensive gender inclusion policy.
I therefore encourage you all to do justice to the draft policy by engaging actively with the consultant and with each other so that we can have a robust gender inclusion policy that can transform our educational landscape for the development of everyone, including marginalized groups and persons with disabilities. That's why we are here, for you to scrutinize it.
Stakeholders from academia, civil society, and government are expected to review and validate the draft policy during the workshop, paving the way for its finalization and implementation. The policy marks a major step forward for education in the Gambia, reflecting the ministry's commitment to gender equality and setting the stage for a more inclusive and equitable society where all can access and benefit from higher education. For N24 News, I am our MCC.